I completely
Okay.
agree.
So, what are some of the biggest challenges that you feel that we have to face as Black women in various roles, with all the roles that we play? So, what is one of the challenges that we have to face with that at being a Black woman?
Um, when we're trying to express how we feel or trying to express a concern and we're deemed as loud or ignorant. That's the one thing that really makes me mad. I saw this thing on Facebook where it said when a Black woman expresses herself, she's loud and ghetto. But when like a Latina woman expresses herself, it's fiery and sexy. Like I want that to finally just be misconstrued. Like we have a voice just as well as other people. But because we present it a little bit differently, we get looked at a little bit differently. Like, oh, she's being loud and she's being ghetto and she's like, her right. Please, please, we need to cut that out. We need to cut that out. Us Black women deserve to be heard just as well as everybody else.
Hey man, your dog is super trained but mine never listens to me.
That's because I just signed up for a dog training course in the community app. It notifies you of all classes happening within a 10-mile radius and has many options. They've got literally everything from dog training classes to dance classes.
No way, you mean I can get my dog trained and learn dancing?
Yeah, install the app right now and see for yourself.
Aluva Life Greens actually started for me when I was 23 years old. I went out and bought a $400 industrial juicer and I started juicing every single week. And I hated it. It took so much time, it cost money, and it was a process. That's when I started making the Life Greens product. It truly is the one drink that you should take every day for the rest of your life.
My name is Amy and I absolutely love fitness. I'm a licensed cosmetologist and a professional makeup artist. Eating healthy is not the easiest thing. We get so busy in our lives, it's really hard to take the time to eat healthy and to eat right. My absolute favorite thing about this product is that they combine reds, greens, and probiotics in one mix. You put it in your water and you shake it up and voila, it's so easy and it tastes amazing. You'll feel a difference. Then you start believing that you really can change and that you can actually feel better.
Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Tina Ramsay, and I am here today with another fabulous guest. I have the pleasure of introducing you to a true powerhouse. She is a mom. She is a founder. She is a singer and an activist. All her roles into an incredible package of woman. Yes, that's what I said. Her name is Holly. She is here to take the podcast world by storm with her own show called Mimosas. Yes, honey. And she is just amazing on what she is doing with her mission, with her podcast, with her advocacy. And she is tackling those topics that we need to be discussing within our communities in order for you to elevate and position yourself to a healthy health and wellness with mental health, and also knowing that morning, Mimosas, yeah. She have your back. Holly got your back. So let's bring Holly on right now. Welcome to the show, Holly.
Hey, everybody. So glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, I am so happy because when I see all of the things that you're doing, you're a singer. First of all, you're a mom like me, and that is a job in itself that we never get. Sick leave, time off, none of that. Okay.
That's for sure.
But then you also advocate for I call it the ones who have no voice. So you bring up these topics that need to be discussed, and then you're the founder and CEO of Morning Mimosas. So what made you decide to start your podcast in the first beginning, and what is your goal for your podcast?
So what made me start my podcast was, so I actually started it back in 2017, but I didn't do anything with it. I created the Morning Mimosas page. I made an announcement. That summer, did a toast with my sister and my ex-best friend. That was that. I decided to revamp it late last year. So it was the beginning of like November, due to the fact that I had lost two aunties, two uncles, and my mom's cousin all in that short time. So with all that grief that I was going through, I decided to turn it into something positive, which is morning mimosas. So I decided to revamp it. I started looking for people to, do this with me. Found people, lost people. You guys know, trial and error. And then here we are. We are now at 1,100 followers in that short period of time. So, and then my goal for this is to change the narrative of our Black community. Like I tell people a lot, we've evolved technology-wise, but our mindsets are still the same. So I want to be that person to help change the narrative so we're going in a better direction, because the direction that we're currently going in is not it. So
I 1000% agree with you on that. Like, you're right, with the advances of technology, with advancements of where we are as a whole, when we look at jobs and different stuff like that, we think that some people say that we made it, but no, we still have a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, a lot of tears. We're in the present, but I said, some people, we still living in the past. Okay. And we cannot successfully move forward until we address and heal the past first. And what we're doing, we're constantly moving and grooving, but we still carrying that baggage. And yes, it's not going to be easy. Nope. It's not going to be easy, but once you heal yourself, then you can't be stopped. Put it like that. You can't be stopped. So I'm glad that you decided to tackle that and also bring this up within our community, which we need to start having these, I like to call it healthy conversations. So with all that being said, with you being a mama advocate, a host of your podcast, going through the ups and downs of life, even dealing with your own challenges with, different family members passing away, and the ups and downs of being a podcaster. I keep telling people podcasting is not linear. It is very up and down. You have highs, you have lows, and you have some kind of like stagnant areas, and you have to learn how to move through all those movements. So how do you try to balance, because there's no really true way to balance all of this, but how can you balance your role as a mom, as a founder, as an advocate? You're a singer, and you're also an activist. So how do you manage to do all of that?
The first thing I do is I remember that I'm human. One of the things that we fail to do is we forget that we're human, and we don't take the time to take care of ourselves first. One of the things I'm really, really big on is self-care. If I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of any of my business, whether it's being a mom, being a podcaster, being a businesswoman, or being a daughter, a sister, a niece, just all of that. You can't do all of that unless you take care of yourself first. So that's literally how I keep things together. I have to remember, like, hey, this part is stressful right now, or I'm going through a trial right now. But you have to remember, take care of yourself so you're able to get through that. People, and that's another thing that we forget too. We forget to take care of ourselves because we're so busy being a mom, a businesswoman. We're stressed out from work, or we're stressed out because we have a, emergency bill or something like that. But yeah, all those things are true. And yes, we go through those things, but we have to learn how to navigate and be like, hey, yeah, this is stressing me out. But negativity makes things worse. Like, I don't know if people believe in like energy and stuff, but negativity, if you exhibit negativity will come. If you exhibit positivity will come. So that's just how I live my life. It's not easy. Okay. But, but it's doable.
It really is. I agree with you on that as well. But one point that I heard you say that I thought was like your stand out, what you just said, was that you're human. And many times we want to do all these different things and not realize we don't put any margin in for failure, and we don't put no margin in for life mishaps. We just say, okay, I have this goal. I'm going to set this. I'm going to put all these expectations, some realistic, some unrealistic. And then once we get to that point and it don't work out great, well, no, I'm a failure. No, you're not a failure. It's called life. It's called life. Okay. And so we have to learn how to say sometimes you may have something on your list and life happens and you just cannot do it right then. And you have to be okay with that. And I agree with you about the energy, because if you're around negative people, you will become negative.
Of course.
I mean, just like if you're around positive people, you'll start having that mindset. Even when bad things happen, you can see the positive thing and more positivity going to come into your life. So the people we're around, the information we read, what we watch on television, what we listen to, all plays a big part in our overall well-being. So the fact that you even bringing that up is very valuable, because sometimes we look at that as nonchalant and like, no. Hey, that is one of the crucial things you need to make sure, essential things you need to make sure that you do, because it can either help you or pull you back.
Exactly.
Okay. So what are some of the biggest challenges that you feel that we have to face as Black women in various roles, with all the roles that we play? So what is one of the challenges that we have to face with that, being a Black woman?
When we're trying to express how we feel or trying to express a concern and we're deemed as loud or ignorant. That's the one thing that really makes me mad. I saw this thing on Facebook where it said, when a Black woman expresses herself, she's loud and ghetto. But when like a Latina woman expresses herself, it's fiery and sexy. Like, I want that to finally just be misconstrued. Like, we have a voice just as well as other people. But because we present it a little bit differently, we get looked at a little bit differently. Like, oh, she's being loud and she's being ghetto and she's like, her right. Please, we need to cut that out. We need to cut that out. Us Black women deserve to be heard just as well as everybody else. That's just a pet peeve of mine.
Well, and they always put us in that stereotypical, what they see on TV as an angry, mad Black woman.
Yep.
So if we have an opinion, then we're mad. We always have to be mad if we don't agree. So it's like if you have a disagreement, oh, you mad. Oh, you're angry. No, I just have an opinion. And I don't agree with you, but that don't make me mad. It's just making me share my perspective on why I feel the way I feel. That doesn't mean that I'm angry. That just lets you know that this is my perspective. And so I agree with you on that as well. We are looked at as being loud, ghetto, hard to deal with, mad.
And I don't get that. I don't understand that. Like, even if a woman is like presenting herself in a classy manner, I'm going to use this lady as an example because I absolutely love her. I don't know if you know who Coach Sydney Carter is. She is a coach for, I believe, was it Texas A&M? I think she's like the director now, but she was wearing very beautiful clothing as a coach. And she was judged for, I guess, dressing too sexy as a basketball coach.
I know.
But if you look at her outfits, there was nothing wrong with what she was wearing. But why was she being judged? Because she's a Black woman. Let her, no offense, her other counterparts do the same thing. They wouldn't have said nothing. But
I saw that too. And the fact that it's different, and the fact that she's dressed up. What's wrong with being dressed up on the court line? I mean, most of the audience come dressed up women, especially us Black women. We come dressed to impress wherever we go. And so so if you scan the audience, you will see a lot of Black women dressed just like she was dressed, and there's not anything wrong with it. And so I know exactly who you're speaking about. And then they start doing, I even saw another post. I wish I would have shared it on Facebook, where it showed a Caucasian woman, and she was dressing similar to her. And no one said a thing. She wear heels and two-piece suits and, dressed to the nine, look good too. No one said a thing. But as soon as they notice her, it's a problem. It's a problem. Yes. So what we're gonna do, we're having such a great conversation, but you know how this go. We have to take a break from our sponsors, and then once we come back from this commercial break, we're gonna have some more healthy conversations with the lady of the moment on this podcast, which is the amazing Holly, honey. We'll be back in a moment after this commercial break.
Welcome to a unique dating experience unlike any other.
You gave the relationship all you had.
Wait, we have to share a bed?
Can your ex help you meet your next love?
I'm looking for somebody that's gonna make me laugh.
Do I have any low-lying feelings for Nicole? Maybe.
Sorry, I don't agree with their decision.
Are you afraid?
No, who you talking to? Why are we here?
You should be.
After Happily Ever After, series premiere, Wednesday at 10 on BET.
And just like that, we are back. And I come along with a friend whom you might ask, the amazing Holly. All right. So we're back from the commercial break. And we've been having some great conversations. I like to say healthy conversations about our culture, about our community, about our people, because this is a narrative that we have to address this. We have seen for all these hundreds of years the result of non-communication, the result of not talking about this. And it's about time, family. It's about time for us to have this conversation so that our children will not have to carry this baggage that we've been carrying for all this time. And now we need to leave this better for our babies. Okay, we need to fix this.
I agree.
So let's talk about this fixing. Okay, and so with your podcast, with what you do, how do you plan to help with some of these issues? Like, what's some issues that you're going to tackle that we need to really, that you think that we really need to address in the now?
So one of the biggest issues I want to tackle is mental health awareness. For some reason, our community, if we seek help, we're considered weak. And I'm trying to dead that altogether. I'm trying to let people know that you're not weak for wanting help. You are stronger because you're trying to fight this demon. You know, so that's one of the things absolutely huge for me. And then with these cold cases, so one of the things in my podcast, I'm actually working on a documentary right now. So we want to help solve cold cases and missing person cases of African Americans, and also wrongfully convicted brothers and sisters as well. So if I can actually speak on a wrongfully convicted brother and sister right now, the one I'm working on, his name is Prentice Pons. I actually just got off the phone with him about an hour or so ago. He's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's serving a life plus 25-year sentence for insurance fraud.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It just sounds ridiculous coming out of my mouth, right? But he's been in there 6 years already, and talking to him today really made me cry. I'm not even gonna lie, because they convicted him on nothing. Lots of corruption, and just trying to figure out my best way to help him. Trying to reach out to wrongfully convicted nonprofits that can help. I'll be starting my nonprofit also to help everybody in this situation, the cold case victim families, missing person families, wrongfully convicted people's families, get them counseling, just everything that we're doing right now. It's huge. Because this needs to happen. Like I said, the last 500 years, like the only thing that's evolved in our community is technology. We're still doing the same. We still have the same mindsets. Parents, what is that phrase? Kids are to be seen and not heard. Mm-hmm. That doesn't work for me as a mom. My daughter's 3 and my son is 2, and that's not going to work for me. I want them to be able to come and talk to me about stuff, that things need to change. It just needs to change. It's not working.
I know it's really not, and I feel with you on that. The way that I raise my children is for them to be able to have an opinion, to be able to come to me about anything. I have this no judgment policy when they need to speak on something that's really weighing on their heart, and if they say the phrase, "Mom, I need to speak with you on a no judgment policy," I know right then that it's something that's really hitting them, but they're worried about the way that I'm going to react to it. So therefore, no judgment, right? So I sit there and I listen. That's what we mess around with parents. Sometimes we don't listen. If we hear something that we don't quite understand, we don't quite like, we automatically go on the defense. Like, you wasn't raised like that. Why you did? Right. So I just listen, unjudgmental, and let them share of themselves. And then after I say they finish whatever it is, I don't care if it takes 5 minutes, it takes 30 minutes for them to get all of it out. I'm sitting there just listening. And then once we do that, then we have a conversation. I call it healthy conversation. And that has helped me so much that now they're teenagers now, and they come to me about some of the most outlandish and some of the, like everything. They come to me, I'm like, okay, I'm glad you came to me. So now let's talk about this. But we have that open door policy. And so I feel as parents, I grew up in that generation where you be seen and not heard. You just opinion. You stay at a child's place, okay?
Yeah.
You know, even if someone intrude on your person, intrude on you, your emotions, your feelings. I mean, basically, we grew up in an era where a child's opinion, their word wasn't looked upon as valuable because they're a child, okay? And so I truly understand what you're saying with that. And so I want to make sure for myself that I change that narrative for my children, and hopefully they'll carry that on, because it creates a lot of trauma. It creates a lot of anxiety, yes. A lot of unnecessary anxiety. And speaking of anxiety, let's talk about this PTSD. And how have you ever dealt with PTSD, or do you help people with PTSD? Because I know that is one thing that is like a banner in regards to mental illness, mental health. And I don't like to say illness. I like to say mental health.
Yeah.
It's not an illness. It's just a chemical imbalance in some sorts. And the reason why people don't come to us and admit different things is because the connotation of they don't want to be labeled as crazy, something wrong with them. Our community is very judgmental when it's dealing with that. And it makes us hide if you're dealing with depression. Like I deal with depression. I'm going to be the first person to tell you, I deal with depression. Okay. What? You don't think just because I smile, I don't deal with depression? I mean, I have some low moments, okay? You know? And so I feel that a lot of the suicide that's on the rise with our community would come to, it will lessen if we had the confidence and we had the safety to know if we said, hey, I'm having these situations. I don't quite understand it. I'm unusually emotional. I don't understand what's going on. And we had this conversation where we can talk about it. A lot of these suicides, a lot of these drug overdose, alcoholism, all of this. I think it will help get rid of a lot of that, or at least provide the right resources. What do you think about that?
I completely agree. So I actually have PTSD. And that's because I lost my firstborn when I was 15. She was drowned. So I definitely understand. I didn't want to be labeled anything either. But what I started to realize is that I couldn't deal with the flashbacks I kept getting. Seeing my daughter floating in a tub like that. So we have to take care of ourselves, guys. We just like I don't know why we're so judgmental of each other like that when somebody wants to better themselves. Like I just think that part is so weird, that we just like, hey, so like I hear you like, because like I be hearing so like, hey, I heard you going to therapy. Like how is that going for you? And I'm like why do you sound so like not like non-supportive of that. I like it just blows my mind. But yes, we definitely need to take better care of that, because like a lot of these overdoses I've been seeing, especially with fentanyl, I've been seeing a lot of Black people dying from fentanyl overdoses, and I just what's going on there, y'all? Like, please talk to somebody, because that's not it.
No, it's not it. It's not it. And so this interview, I hope and I pray that people see this for what it truly is, because we're opening up, we're being very transparent, we're being vulnerable, sharing about our own personal battles, our own personal situations, in hopes of letting you see that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to get help. I remember when I was just at a very, very low point. I had my first daughter, and honestly, the emotions that you have, the hormonal imbalances from just having a child, I never experienced that. And then I found out that I was going through postpartum depression. Now, when I found out I had postpartum depression, on the news, they had it so like splattered. This mother killed their daughter. They drove their child into the ocean. You know, I didn't see any situation on the news that will say, you can make it through this situation without harming your child. So I'm here panicking like, oh my God, I don't want to ever do that to my children. What, I mean, like, what do you mean postpartum depression? Like, I'm like berserk. Like, what do you mean? And so they explained it to me. They gave me some help. And over time, with my hormones balanced, I was able to see a brighter side, but it was because of me being able to get the therapy and because of me asking for help. And I did have my husband that actually was like, no, this is not you. You're not yourself. We're going to figure out what's going on. But I'm not going to lie. I kept that a secret from a lot of my family and friends, because I was worried about how they was going to look, how they was going to perceive me, you know, and judge me. And I didn't want to be labeled as crazy, quote unquote. Oh, you done lost it, girl. What, you had a nervous breakdown? I didn't want that label. And every time I used to go to the therapist, I used to wear like big baggy clothes, a hat pulled down, because I didn't want anyone passing by to see me, you know. So I'm at this point where I advocate for mental health awareness, to go to a therapist that's non-biased, that can help you work through those Pandora boxes, those past traumas that's holding you back, help you identify when you feel those emotions. It can let you know, hey, this is what I need to do in order to help myself work through this, so that I can see the bright, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. But our community look at us, and even in general, not even just our community, but in general, they look at health and wellness from the neck down, but we need to focus on the neck up.
Okay.
Okay, we need to focus on, because this control all of this, controls the entire body. So the fact that you're talking about PTSD, the fact that you're even sharing about your experience with your daughter, is to be commended, because just doing that alone can be a very scary undertaking. So thank you for sharing, and thank you for taking it to the next level with saying, okay, I'm providing this help for my inner self, helping myself, but I also want to extend this to the community. If they want it, they have access, and changing the mindset around mental health. It's just health and wellness, people. It don't mean you're crazy. It means that you're taking care of your mind.
Exactly. But it's really interesting, but they don't see it as that. They see it as like you stated, like, oh, I don't want to be labeled as like psychotic or schizophrenic, or, you know, all those other terms. And I'm just like, so what if they label you like that?
Yeah.
So what? As long as you're getting help for it, you can overcome it, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't that what matters? But okay, I don't know.
Yeah, I had to grow into that. I was going, but I had to grow into that self-awareness, self-confidence. And to be honest with you, and it might sound a little rude, but I had to stop caring what other people think.
Okay.
I had to stop caring. I'm like, and what? Okay. Yeah, I go. You need to go too. That's the problem. You're not going.
Poetry fingers.
So I had to get to a point where I don't care what you think about me, as long as I'm taking care of myself to make sure that I am all right, so that I can be a beacon of light to be able to do what I'm purposed to do to help all these people.
Wow.
I'm on this earth to help. Okay.
Wow.
I don't care what you think.
Wow.
I don't care what you think. So say what you want. But I'm out here making moves and helping to change lives. And I can't do that if I'm not taking care of my neck up. Because hearing all these different problems and situations, it weighs on your spirit, honey. So I know, like you saying, you was emotional about the young man that you're helping. And people don't realize, as coaches, as mentors, as advocates, people are downloading their problems, their challenges, their issues onto us. And we have a heart. We truly care, because this is a faceless job that normally we get no money. We doing it from the sheer kindness of our heart, taking what time away from our families. And we're hearing all this, and you can't turn that off. You hear some of these stories and you be like, oh my God. And then it's going on racing in your head, because we all dealing with different things, maybe dealing with depression, PTSD of our own. And now we're flashing their stories in our head, figuring out how can we help them. Okay. And so you getting emotional because, honey, I've been there, still there, know what you're talking about. And so you have to get some therapy, have to have that self-care, some time to relax for yourself in order for you to be productive, in order for you to continue the work, because this type of work can not only burn you out, but it can wear you out mentally. It can wear you out mentally. And so we have to do it. So when I'm thinking about that, you're a singer as well. So do you incorporate your singing into your advocacy and your community work?
That's so interesting. So yeah, a little bit. Sorry, I got it.
No, I didn't mean to make you cry, but China, you know.
That's a Sagittarius in me, but be the sensitive. So yeah, I do incorporate my music a little bit. I'm actually going to be. I'm actually in the middle of writing a justice piece for cold case victims, and I'll put that in my documentary. But my reasoning behind doing that is whatever I make from that, for it to be donated to any places, any nonprofits that help with cold cases and or missing persons of African Americans, specifically the Doc Ellis Foundation. I love them. So definitely a lot of work going to them because they're doing amazing work. But yeah, just doing, small things like that. I wrote a jingle for my podcast that I haven't recorded yet, but yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing more with that.
And I hear this tone of your voice, and excuse me, but I just have to say it. You have a unique, calming voice that's very unique. It transitioned into a podcast, it transitioned to radio. But I'm hearing something else that you could possibly think about in the future, because I know you have a lot on your plate. What about spoken word poetry? Do you do that?
I used to write poetry a lot.
I knew it. I knew it. I know it.
I was actually published when I was a teenager in like a poetry book, and actually they sent me I was supposed to go to Vegas and get an award, but my parents couldn't afford it back then. But yes, I love poetry. And actually, I don't know, have you heard of TED Talks?
Yeah.
I would love to do one.
Oh, you already put it out there. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna happen because you put it out in there. It's gonna happen now. So get ready. You already put it out there. Oops, you put it out there. So I'm gonna be like, "Hi, Lee girl, I see you on the TV, girl."
But it's just really interesting. You're not the first person to tell me that about my voice, but I'm just like, what do you guys hear that I don't? I don't hear it. Maybe because it's mine. But I just want to say thank you for that compliment, because I get that a lot lately. And I'm like, how? But okay.
No, really, I hear it. And I'm like, I can hear you reading poetry. I can hear you reading. I can even hear you being the narrator behind these cold cases doing the voiceovers. You can be your voice is so good that you can actually do voiceovers. I do voiceovers. And because some people want my excited Southern twang, they looking for a Southern twang. All right. And so people are looking for the serene, the calmness, the nurturing effect of your voice. Your voice is very calm, very serene, very nurturing, but powerful at the same time. And it's hard to find a voice that does all of that with saying and speaking on hard topics like criminal justice, like PTSD. And so to feel safe, you have a very safe sounding voice. And that's only because I hear and I tell people like, this is what you need to do with your voice, the coaching me. So I digress. Okay, let's get back to you, Holly.
I love it. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You are most welcome. So when you start clearing some of your schedules, look into that, because I can really see that being one of the layers of what you do and what you're bringing. And so what advice would you give to someone who wants to get involved with the criminal justice reform or promoting healing in the community? Because I know that's very important, the criminal side, the criminal justice side. So if someone want to help, how can they help? How can they support?
So one of the things that I tell people that you can do for free, right?
Mm-hmm.
Watch and share and like. That's like one of the biggest things you can do. Something that doesn't cost you a dime, but it does cost you a few seconds to do. Watch, share, and like. Spread whatever story that we're talking about, because I speak to a lot of cold case victims' families,
mm-hmm.
and some of them have been waiting for justice 20 plus years, and then, during those times, they've lost other family members, thus making, the pain or a little bit worse for them. So just put yourself in these family shoes, guys, and think of it if it was your family member. And just, support the family any way that you can. On my page, I will start putting up, old clips of certain cold cases that I'll be working on. And you guys can reach out to the families and ask them what you guys can do. Just get yourself in the community. Don't just, okay. So here's what we do as a community, right? A tragedy happens. We're all sad. We post about it on social media. And then a week later, it dies down. No, we got to keep that story fired up, because that was somebody's daughter, somebody's son, somebody's father, somebody's mother, grandmother, auntie. And that pain that they exhibited from that will be forever.
Yeah.
So I need people to start putting the human back in humanity.
That's it. And when we get back to that, then we'll see a true change. Yeah. We'll see a true change. And you're right. To the general public, that may just be a breaking news story, but to the family that is happening to, it's a lifelong battle, a lifelong journey. And especially when you're thinking about how many of our people are falsely incarcerated at like high rates. It's not like it's small, it's a lot. Okay. And so one young man just got released from prison. I think it was this week. He already served like 18 years, and then they found out that they falsely arrested him, and he served 18-year sentence on a case, or no, murder that he did not commit, and he had always advocated that he was innocent. But being that he had some resemblance to the guy, they just wanted to. But when I looked at the photos, I didn't see no resemblance. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. So I'm gonna be totally honest with you. That's just my opinion now. That's just my opinion. Let me just give that little disclaimer. I didn't see no resemblance other than black man, young black man. That's it. He was a young black man. That's it. But of course, some people say differently. But the case of the matter is he didn't do it. And now he's free. They exonerated him, but the fact of the matter is he's still not free, even though he's free, because 18 years have been taken away from his life. The lifestyle that's in prison of what he had to deal with to survive for 18 years under the conditions that we can't even fathom. He's still in a battle in his mind. He's free now, out with us, but he's still in prison. They need to provide mental health awareness, like therapy, counselors, things to get him back on his feet. They just put them out here and thinking, okay, you've been in here in this 4x4 to 6x6 for how many years? And now this whole world is open to you. It has to be a shock, to say the least. And so how do you feel about it?
Oh, I'm really glad you asked me that. I actually have a huge opinion about that. Jail, for some reason, it's not really there to rehabilitate. I don't think it's there to rehabilitate. Because 18 years ago is not the same as it was today.
No.
18 years ago, what was it? It was the beginning of flip phones, iPods.
Internet. We had to put disc in the dial up. We had to.
Okay, we still had that back then. So like, it's not the same. So like when these men come out of prison after doing these long bids, especially when they're innocent, or whether they're innocent or not, let me just do it from both perspectives. Whether they're innocent or not, when they do these long bids and then they come out, they're coming into literally a whole new world. Like they don't know. They don't know what they're doing when they come out. They didn't go into prison with this kind of phone. They went to prison with a Nokia flip phone, or the phone with the snake, when the one with the snake game. Like,
exactly.
It's not, they're not rehabilitating. They come out and then some of them end up reoffending, right? Because that's what they know.
Exactly.
And because they're not used to this outside world, because they were never prepared for it. But no, seriously, they need, they're not going to, right? But if I was running a prison, right, I would do my best to do the rehabilitation part, so that person who did that crime can go into society, be a law-abiding citizen, and try to live a normal life. But they don't do that.
No,
they don't do that to those men. They talk their shit. They talk their shit to them, and verbally abuse them. Say like you're just another nigga on the street. Whatever treatment they get in there, and then they have to come out and then try to navigate something that they don't understand.
Exactly. So, Holly, let me tell you, I have thoroughly enjoyed having you on the show today. And when I think about your future, or when you think about your future, Holly, what are some of the long-term goals and aspirations that you want for yourself, the work that you do, and your podcast?
So eventually Morning Mimosas will be a full-blown sitcom that will blow investigation discovery out of the water, baby.
Yes.
That's goal number one. And then Morning Mimosas slowly becoming into a nonprofit that helps these families get a sense of healing, truth, and justice. And then just breaking generational curses, so my kids have something, and then making sure my grandkids have something that to be proud of. And to know that, hey, my mommy, grandma, whatever, she was an advocate for this. So I want to make sure that I'm doing the same things.
Exactly. So with all that being said, I appreciate you coming on today's show and just sharing what you're doing in order to help communities, but especially our communities, be able to truly break free from the enslavement of the mind. Yes. So that we can move forward into the future and don't have the same chains, invisible chains that we carry generation. We break them for our children and all the generations that come behind us. Yes. And so thank you for being coming on the show, Holly. And I look forward to listening in on your podcast. And thank you so much for being here.
Coach, podcast influencer, Coach Tina Ramsay.
What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are. The media network, that's the best by far. Whether you're listening at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above par. Never lasting, motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions that you're asking. Serious talks and topics, how to come up and profit, how to better yourself, your health is here. We got it, reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence, all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network, start the show. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR is who we are. The Media Network, that's the best by far, you know. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. Yourself, your health is here, we got it. Reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence, all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network, start the show. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR is who we are. The Media Network, that's the best by far, you know. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network.